So this is my 190 millimeter chuck that I bought from Small Lads. It was all rusty, it wasn't moving right. Since then I found out that it's a German-made Wesselmann. Not sure how old it is, but that company went bust in 1942. So that thing could be, I don't know, 90 years old or more. Anyway, I took it apart, got rid of all the rust using electrolytic process, and then a lot of elbow grease. One of the pinions inside was damaged, so I welded it up and used the lathe to bring it back to size and put it all together, and now it's turning nicely. I think I need another key. That one doesn't really fit, but that's not a problem. It's 190 millimeters compared to the 100 millimeter that's currently on the lathe, but I'm gonna make an adapter. I'm gonna try it. Let's see what happens. If not, I'll sell it and buy another one which is slightly smaller. So I bought this cast iron 2 pieces of GG25 cast steel. Supposed to be very good for adapters, that sort of stuff. You can see I found the middle. Here's this tool and some stuff I remember from high school. I found out the middle, checked it. It does not matter exactly if it is absolutely in the middle, because I'm going to drill a hole and then I'm going to make adapter so I can clamp it in the chuck, and then I will recess it. I will machine a recess so it can go over here, and once it's over there I will mark the holes, drill the holes, tap them, and connect it directly to here, and then I keep on machining, and I will turn it down to 190 millimeter. At the moment it's 200, so it does not really matter if it's exactly in the middle, because I will turn it down. I still try to find exactly the middle, and then I'm gonna make a little pilot hole, and then I'm drill it out to probably about, I don't know, take a decent size, you know, maybe, what's that, 16 millimeter, and then I will stick a little adapter to it, which I will actually weld with 2 or 3 points just to make sure it is holding on tight, and then I will clamp it and then start machining. So I will post some more about this. I mean, that chuck 190 millimeter looks really big, but well, we'll see if the machine can handle it or not. If it can't handle it, I'll just sell it and buy a smaller one. So I now drilled the 14 millimeter hole in there. Unfortunately, I don't have a larger drill, so it will have to do. So now I'm gonna do a small adapter, 14 millimeter. Make a few welding dots around it so it doesn't move. Not sure it's needed, but I'll do it anyway. And then we'll start machining. I drilled it with the 14 millimeter, but it's really hard to determine exactly what the size is. I want a good fit, so I decided to hand ream it with a 14.5. Where is it? 14.5 millimeter reamer. So now I know exactly how to do the adapter, what size. I mean, it does not matter, it could have been a little bit off, but you know, I've got the tool, might as well use it. So now I'm gonna do the adapter and start machining. So I just finished cleaning off the face of the adapter plate using my Knox tool holder, which I modified to be able to fit in here, so I had to take some off here. So this is going to be the back side of the plate going onto here. So now I'm going to turn that so it's true, because it's not exactly true, because when I drill the hole it might not have been exactly in the middle. Well, and then we'll see how we progress from there. So I'm going to stop here for a minute. So I had to be a bit creative to be able to use the tool holder, so I had to go to the other side. Luckily, when I replaced the spindle here, I made it much longer so I can go further out. There's a bit of chatter because obviously it's not very stable. I did tighten those now just to make sure there's less movement. That being cast, obviously it's not going to be a beautiful finish, and you have to go very slow, because also the speed of that is going to be, I reckon it's 375. So at the moment I'm going fairly, sort of regular speed, just to make sure that I get all the, see there's still a mark here, so I'm going to try to get through the skin. After that I'm going to make one last very, very slow run to see if I can get it smooth. Maybe I'll try another tool just to make sure with a new insert to see if we can get it really nice. So let's see what happens. Okay, now that I cleaned that off, I machined a 1.5 millimeter recess in here with a diameter of 101.15, and that is supposed to be the diameter of this piece, because my intention is to take this out, turn it around, take this off, press it against this one where it's like 1.5 meter going over that, so it should be centered. Then I'm going to mark the holes, and then I can drill these holes, tap it, and connect this directly to that plate. Once that is in place, and hopefully there's no movement whatsoever, then I can face it again, this time from that side, which has not been done yet, and also here, and then it will be true. And then I can think about how to mark the hole for the chuck, but at least that one will be mounted on here, and if everything goes well, I mean this part here has almost no run out. It was fairly accurate. So when it's connected, yeah, let's see what happens. I have to think about how to do it, but yeah, I think that's the plan. So the recesses have been machined, and I'm going to press this now against here. I'm going to use the tailstock to press it against, and then I need to mark the holes. So my idea is I'm going to make here a sharp tip. I'm gonna put this in here while this is pressed again, and then I'm gonna squeeze it somehow with a clamp or whatever in those three positions. I'll take it off and I see if it just needs to make a small mark, which I then can punch and drill and tap. But this is the plan. Let's see if it works. Unfortunately, I don't have a provision to make a taper on the lathe. I'm still looking for one, but yeah, I'm just gonna manually make a tip, sharp tip. Let's see what happens. So the idea with the tip, yeah, was a good idea, but not practical. So because there's not enough meat there, so basically I'm gonna have like this insert with a sharp tip, and then I'm gonna press the plate against it, and I'm gonna mark the position of the hole. Hopefully it will be seen on the engineer's blue here, or I'll just try to, you know, give it a good squeeze so it makes a little hole. We'll see in a minute. What can I say? Bit of an idiot, am I? Well, the engineering blue is beautiful, but as you can see, the marks were on here. I marked the wrong area, but it's really easy to see. There's a mark here, a mark here, and a mark there. So yeah, that's good. So now I'm going to drill them and tap them. I'm going to use M8. So that little tool worked. Not perfect, but well, did the job. That's all we need, a little mark. So now I'm drilling the 3 holes so I can attach the adapter plate to the lathe. I've made a little pilot hole for this one here, and then I put in M5 5mm one. Now I'm going to drill it with a 6.8mm, and that's going to be the one for the M8 tap. Then I'm going to turn it around and do these two, and afterwards I'll tap them. So that's the plan for now. So this is the first one I'm tapping. This is now the 3rd tap. It goes actually pretty good. Funny thing is that you can drill or, you know, cut a thread in this cast material pretty easy, but on the lathe it was very hard. So yeah, but it's going well at the moment. Okay, the holes are done, going very nicely. The threads are done, so mounting poles, yeah, very smooth, worked well. So now comes the moment of truth. I'm gonna attach it, and let's see how it looks then. Well, it went on without any sort of problem, so it was good. Yeah, looks okay. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take this off, because that was only used to connect it to the original 3-way chuck. I am going to have to recess it for the new 3-way chuck. I have to open this up as well, because it has I can put in some small larger pieces. So yeah, bit of work to do, but yeah, I'm quite happy with that. So I had to go backwards again, turning this way around. Otherwise, because the tool cannot reach here, still have this crack here I want to get rid of. So I'm going to machine a little bit more, and then I'm going to do probably just go slide, just try to get the surface a little bit better. So I'm trying to get a better surface finish. I mean, it does not look very smooth, but it's actually quite smooth. So I'm happy about that. Just gonna do the edges a bit, chamfer them because they're sharp. Yeah, but that's good. Feels actually quite nice. So this simple burnishing tool, yeah, it works. Very crude, but it works. So I've machined this recess here, so I can fit the new 100mm chuck in there. So it's probably just a little bit oversized, but I want to make sure, so I'm gonna offer the three-way chuck up just to make sure, because I want it to be a fairly tight fit, you know, almost press fit, so that once it's there it's not going to move and cause me any side to side movement, whatever. So the chuck is on. I pressed it pretty hard on it. I mean, it's a hard fit, and then I checked with the 0.05mm or 2000th of a feeler gauge, and it sort of almost goes in a couple of places. And so what I'm gonna do, I mean, it's pretty good anyway, and I you know, you never know if that face is completely straight. So what I'm gonna do anyway, I'm gonna take it off. Just gonna, with a file or even with some emery paper, I'm just gonna give that shoulder a tiny dressing and chamfer it, and then I'll press it up again. But it's pretty good. I mean, doesn't look too bad. I had to tap a little bit with the leather side of this mallet, but I have to remember to do a couple of holes 180 degrees from each other, so I can insert bolts there to push it out next time I want to take it off. That will make things much easier. It's better not to hammer on that thing anyway. To know where to drill the holes in the adapter plate, I used a hammer and some thin cardboard and got this ring made with the holes in exactly the same positions where I need to drill it into the adapter. So I marked the holes, and before that, when it was still on the lathe, I made a line which was exactly in the center, and I aligned, centered it exactly on that point. And now I'm going to drill it and pray that it's in the right position, although this one is not that accurate because the bolts, I mean, they could have a little bit of movement. It does not matter that much as long as I can the chuck is seated on this one. So if this is moving a little bit sideways, that's not going to be a problem. So still, I wanted to get accurate. Let's see what happens when I finished it. I'm going to drill it to a 10mm hole, which is slightly larger than the shaft diameter here. And on the other side, I'm gonna drill a little bit more so the head can disappear a little bit into the adapter. Well, we come to that later. So let's get drilling, eh? So I had this line that I marked on the lathe before I drilled the 10mm holes, and basically the middle of it I put some pilot holes again here. Yeah, so they're going to be 3 M6 threads, and to do the thread I'm using a 5mm drill, or I think it's maybe 4.9 hours, let's say 5mm, and then I will tap it. I'm fitting the adapter plate and also the chuck. I made some helping devices here. The weight, I mean, to put these bolts in is pretty tricky. It's quite annoying because there's no space, but to help me, I did slot the bolts at the head. So now I can insert a screwdriver and turn them in like that. Definitely easier than trying to do this from here. So now I'm going to tighten everything, and then I'll connect the chuck to it. But yeah, slotting the bolts is an easy thing to do. It definitely helps. So much easier. I suppose here comes the moment of truth, or one of the moments of the truth. Well, I set it on 0 on the outer rim of the adapter. Oh, there's hardly ever movement. I mean, I guess, no, it's pretty good. I'm actually surprised. It's better than I thought. It's actually on 0, so, and that is like 200mm diameter. So yeah, I'm actually amazed and very, very happy. So now let's see if I can put the chuck on. So now the chuck is attached, and I put this very accurate piece of steel in there, which I use to, check alignment, or when I have a four chuck, 4-piece chucks, and I can center it. So basically I put it in, and there's about 0.01, if you can see it, movement. Now that in itself is not the end of the world. It's probably a bit less than that. So theoretically I could even live with that, but when I looked closely onto the chuck, see, it's clamped quite tightly, but typical of wear. So it's only grabbing here and not on the whole, length of it, which means, I mean, there's a bit of free play in there. What that means is I will have to grind them under pressure, and then they will be straight, and then I'm pretty sure that I get rid of most of that tolerance there. Even though I must say 0.01 for like a hobby machine, Chinese made, 30-40-year-old thing, is probably not that bad either. So, but let's see where we get after we grind it. Yep, it's working. 190 millimeters of chuck.